We had another wild day in the stock market as at open, stocks tanked down, but the market said nope and blasted all the way back up, and it was a great day. In this video, we're going to talk about our favorite setups for tomorrow and the rest of the week, and why gas prices might be on the rise yet again. I know it's been a bad year, but we're going to talk about something important that happened today because oil stocks have been moving in an interesting way lately. So stick with us. We have a great video, but Tom, we're not wasting any time, so let's get right into it.
Yeah, Mike, like you said, the SPY tanked down today and then ripped back up, especially up there towards market close. We almost got up in the green if we wouldn't have dipped back down there right at close. But nonetheless, it was a crazy day. And like you mentioned, those oil stocks went crazy. And one of my favorite stocks lately has been Oxy. This stock has been flying up a ton over the past couple of weeks, honestly. Looking at that 1 hour chart, it's been bouncing very well off of that pink trend line here at the bottom, and I'm really liking how it's running up into this $67 to $68 resistance. If we start to see a bigger move above there tomorrow, I think we could possibly see more movement to the upside, but I really like this technical setup off of this trend line. I will say though, Mike, it is getting a little bit overextended here over the past couple weeks, but we had this crazy news today where OPEC actually decided to cut 2 million barrels of their production every single day heading up into the end of this year. They obviously can revise those numbers, but as of right now, they have these daily cuts going on up into the end of 2022 and obviously into the start of 2023. We'll have to see exactly what happens, Mike, but that is a big deal here with OPEC doing that 2 million barrel production cut. Now, a lot of people, they might think, well, what's going on with oil? How does production cuts affect it? So whenever OPEC cuts production on oil, it makes the prices go up. And we saw that happen today. And it happened with crude oil futures, as we can see here on the chart today. It started to really fly up. But what I will say, Mike, is that initially, whenever this news first actually came out this morning, we actually saw crude oil fall back off to the downside a little bit. As we can see on this intraday chart, it started to actually get down to lows of 85.40 down there when this happened, because there was actually an unfortunate thing where it ended up becoming a buy the rumor, sell the news type of deal. But nonetheless, it came flying right back up along with the rest of the oil stocks. So whenever countries cut production, it obviously causes an imbalance in supply and demand. And that is why oil prices go up when this happens. And the White House actually tried to stop this today. And apparently they were saying it just ended up becoming a total disaster. They pretty much, honestly, the White House tried to persuade a bunch of companies to get OPEC to stop this. They tried to obviously get a lot of the leaders from OPEC to try to go against some of the cuts. But obviously, as we know, though, Mike, these countries in OPEC, they make a lot of money when oil's higher. So, of course, they want it to go up.
Yeah, so long story short, less oil is set to be produced, which should make prices go up because there's less supply, and gas companies or oil and gas, crude oil companies popped up. ExxonMobil is up 4% today. OXY is another popular gas company, which Warren Buffett owns billions of dollars of. But Tom, what are you thinking on these gas stocks, and what are you watching?
Yeah, like I said, I'm watching Oxy. I feel like that's in a really good setup here to the upside. We're starting to see a good breakout and move up right into this $68 resistance. If we can see a bigger move above that tomorrow, I'll really be watching for that key breakout to happen. And then I think ZOM would also be another interesting oil stock along with Chevron. I really like those two as well. They should also benefit from higher oil prices. And we can see CVX is starting to fly up. And if you guys don't want to play oil stocks and you want to play like an ETF that follows oil, you can play GUSH, which honestly does pretty well too. You can see the past 3 to 5 days, it's been blasting up and it was up 3.48% respectively too.
Sounds good. So one stock I'm really watching is DUK. This stock is extremely oversold. Over the past couple weeks, this thing is down over 16%. And when you look at it on a daily chart, it is nasty. Like, it fell off a ton. And 16% is actually quite a bit for this company. You know, when you're trading like Tesla or something like that, 16% isn't that much. but for DUK, it's quite a bit. So I'm eyeing this one up for a potential like dip buy. It's a short-term trade. I haven't made a move just yet, but it's definitely close on my watch list, mainly because of how oversold it is. I'm not necessarily expecting a gigantic move back up, but at the same time, I would not be surprised if it retested like 98 or so over like the next trading week.
Yeah, I could see that happening too, Mike. It does seem like that this one's definitely oversold, and with that news going on with oil and everything, you would think maybe it would start to maybe follow some of those other energy stocks back to the upside. But another stock that I've been looking at lately, Mike, is actually Visa, which I feel like is another stock that's extremely oversold, especially on that daily chart. It's starting to come up now and break back above that 188 resistance. So if we could start to move back above that tomorrow and possibly see more momentum, I think this would be a pretty good play for the next few days, especially if the market stays green. Like Mike, that recovery on SPY today really helped out Visa. It even broke back above its high of this morning, which I thought was really nice considering a few stocks are still down in the red.
True, and Visa had a pretty decent day today, just like you said, up around 1%, which, doesn't sound like a ton, but for a company like Visa, that's pretty decent. And the options today, the calls, the weekly ones, popped anywhere from like 40 to around 75% today alone.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good. So hopefully it can keep running up in the short term. I think that would be a pretty good stock to watch for the next few weeks nonetheless. But Mike, I really like this new setup we're doing, talking about more daily intraday setups. We're getting more nitty gritty here with some of these plays. If you guys enjoy that, let us know in the comments down below. I know a lot of people that watch our videos do a lot of day trading and stuff like that. So if you guys are benefiting from this, just leave us a nice comment and, we'll do more plays like this more often.
There we go. So on to the next one. I'm watching Square. Square has a long history of great moves and great price action. I would argue that they are volatile, but in a good way. What I like about Square right now is that they are still very oversold on the daily chart. And in terms of like the past week or so, like, yes, they popped up, but they didn't pop up to the extent where it's like where all the opportunity is gone. Like there's still opportunity. It didn't pop up enough just yet. They're a quality company, and like I said, they have a great history of great movement. I'm really watching Square closely for a potential day trade over like the next couple days. I just like the setup that they're in. They have good volume, good relative volume. They're oversold, and I like the setup, so it's on my radar.
Yeah, it's looking pretty hot, Mike. I see a pretty solid resistance there around 63 or 64. If we could start to break that the next couple days, like honestly, a few stocks were kind of running up and breaking out today. I wouldn't be surprised if Square started to follow along over the next few days. So yeah, watch for that breakout. It definitely is one of those hotter stocks. But my last one today, Mike, is actually going to be Ford. They actually had some pretty great news this morning. So while the market and a lot of stocks were gapping down, Ford actually gapped up, fell back down, and then recovered to close the day up 1.2%. But they were actually upgraded by Morgan Stanley, which I thought was pretty interesting. Now, I did see that Morgan Stanley didn't upgrade their price necessarily, but they did upgrade them to overweight from equal weight. So nonetheless, it was still a good upgrade from a very respected bank in Morgan Stanley. And I know Ford's been in the news a lot lately. They're coming out with that new Mustang GT next year, and it should end up being a pretty cool stock, I think, especially with all the EV capabilities and stuff like that they're getting into.
Good stuff. All right, so the last one I'm watching is Enphase, and this one I have a bearish bias towards. Enphase has been a crazy moving stock over the past couple years, and they've held up a lot better than most companies this year because of how high energy prices have went. Enphase is a solar company for anyone who doesn't know, and today they're down around 9%, which is quite a bit. And they're not like oversold, but they're higher than most stocks. We can say that. And they're just falling below a crucial support line right around 260 to 270. Today, in my opinion, really set the tone in terms of price action. They're down 9% today. That's pretty big. I felt like today was a defining point in terms of a momentum shift for Enphase. It is close on my watch list for some bearish movement. I have it on my watch list for put options. I have not made a trade yet with it, but I'm really watching it, and I would not be surprised if it fell lower.
Yeah, I wouldn't either, Mike. You know, the way it's starting to move down here kind of reminds me like the way it started falling in November and December of 2021 when it started that big downtrend back to the downside. I'm not saying it's going to fall down that much again. That was extremely steep. But yeah, I could see a bit of a downtrend still coming in too. And I know today it was down 9%, but like you said, it still looks very attractive on the daily chart to the downside. And, you know, they actually had a pretty big gap up from 220. Honestly, it only took like 1 or 2 days of movement to get all the way up to 280 there. So it seems like they might be trying to fill that gap back down, which would make for a great trade like you're talking about.
Yeah, so we'll see. So those are the main setups for today. Tom, looking at the market in the heat map today, we can see there was a lot of good action, but not in the way that you would normally think. The stock market held up very, very well today. But the problem is that it started down. So that's why we're not seeing like a sea of green like we saw earlier this week. You know, we actually saw a couple patches of red, but it was just different movement today. You know what I mean? Like the intraday movement was absolutely awesome. Stocks blasted up. But when you look at it from like a day-to-day basis, it's kind of flat.
Yeah, it really is. You know, like you said, the heat map makes it look terrible, but on a day-to-day basis, it's flat to honestly almost slightly up on even on the SPY's case. I know it didn't close green, but that recovery was extremely amazing this morning, and it definitely went green for a little while there towards the end of the day. So yeah, overall, I would say I would chalk this up as a pretty good day in the market, Mike. I know it was volatile and it was all over the place, but I'll tell you what, we got some amazing trades fired off in the Discord today, Mike. We really took advantage. I know the hybrid bot killed it on Meta. My bonus setup alert on SPY exploded up whenever SPY started recovering back. So we had some amazing plays come through, and overall amazing trading day. I cannot wait for tomorrow. Hopefully we see more big breakouts coming in. And I think it's definitely possible given all that momentum that came in towards close.
Yeah, you know, there was a lot of great movement intraday, and we took advantage of it. You know, our bot took advantage of it big time with Meta. Today's play was crazy. It alerted the Meta 135 strike call options at $265 each. By the end of the day, they were at $575 each. Of course, not every single play is like this. The bot loses sometimes. It's not perfect. There's no strategy out there that wins every single play, but our bot is damn good. Tom also had a great call out with SPY. So if you're looking to capitalize off of this movement that we're seeing in the market right now, definitely check out that first link in the description and the comments down below. You'll get daily options plays, and if you don't like it, you can cancel at any time. We have so many different tools that I doubt you'll cancel, so definitely check it out. And Tom, it is now time for the momentum plays. With the first one, we have Corsair to the upside.
Yeah, CRSR, very nice day today compared to a lot of other stocks. Go ahead and make them break out above 1310.
There we go. With the next one, we have BABA also to the upside.
Yeah, China plays, I noticed, especially early this morning, were really exploding, but I see a big intraday resistance on BABA right at 85, so make them break out above that.
And with the last one, we have PayPal also to the upside.
PayPal, nice. Yeah, go ahead and make them, I would say make them break above the high of day right there around 94.65.
Here we go. So we are watching PayPal, BABA, and Corsair for potential day trades to the upside tomorrow, only if they break above the levels Tom listed. Before we move on, I want to give a giant shout out to today's member of the day, Sleek Smiley 24 in the Discord. You're very new to the chat, but you've been very active over the past 2 days, so definitely keep it up. Activity is awesome. You know, you can network with a bunch of great people, and it's nice to have people chatting. Besides that, Tom, do you have any final thoughts heading into tomorrow?
Yeah, crazy day today, especially with the oil stocks. I will say one outlier stock today was Chewy, Mike. That stock flew up 10.7%, really outperformed on my watch list. The next closest play was ZOM on my watch list personally, up 4%. So Chewy really blasted up. That was a very nice day by them. Definitely keep your eyes on them too. On the daily chart, Mike, like we're talking about, they're not necessarily too overextended in the short term either. I could possibly see some more upwards momentum coming in, at least over the next few days, especially in the short term. Over the longer term, you know, we will be running into some resistance, but figured I'd mention them because that's a huge day, up 10% like that.
There we go. Guys, don't forget, if you're looking to capitalize off of this market movement right now, check out that first link in the description and the comments down below. Our bots are awesome, and you'll get daily trades from our bots and from all the other channels we have. It's definitely worth trying out at least for a month, and like I said, if you don't like it, you can cancel at any time. Besides that, if you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. You'll see our videos more often, and let's end the week strong.